Hi, welcome to the Big Bear Homestead. And today we're doing our weekly garden tour. Okay, so it's Wednesday, and we told you guys that we would do a walkabout in our garden every Wednesday. Now, last week I forgot to show you guys our peach tree. Now, this peach tree was here on our property when we bought the place, and for the first couple of years it didn't really produce. But now, since we come in and we pruned it back and cut everything down around it, for the most part we got to go in there and cut up some grass, we're starting to get peaches. As you can see, it's full of peaches, and so we're excited about that. That is the peach tree that we started those two little peach trees from seed from. The one that's going to the hollers, and then the other one is going to Elk and Anchor when they get their places all ready for them. So let's come over here. Let's check out the raspberries. We've got some new growth. They've been growing. It's almost time for us to go ahead and secure them to the second wire. And so we're excited about that. The grapes, if you remember last week, I showed you guys the little flowers. Well, those little flowers have turned into little tiny grapes. We're super excited about those. So if everything goes right, we should have a very good muscadine and scuppernong harvest this year on our homestead. So now let's walk over to the front yard garden. Okay, we're gonna make a pit stop before we hit the front yard garden. Another thing that I forgot to show you guys last week was our blueberry patch. Now, we've been struggling with this blueberry patch. It's about 2 years old, and one of our struggles is, again, I believe my property at one point in time had chicken houses on it. And so in the area that we have our blueberries, it had a lot of gravel in it. So this might have been the driveway. Now, we lost some last year. We have to replace them with new ones, but all the ones that made it have blueberries on them, as you can see. But our major struggle in this area is grass. It's growing up through the wood chips. It grows up through the pine straw. It grows up through the straw, and it grows up. Whoop, let me spin you around like that so I'm not backlit. And it's growing up through everything. I think it was VW Family Farms made mention that they go and get the old advertisement billboards when they take the new ones down. So we're going to see if we can't reach out to a company this year locally to us to see if we can't start to do the same thing. All right, let's run over and check out Ladessa's sweet pea bed. Okay, so we're over here by Ladessa's sweet peas, and boy, let me tell you, look at this one. Look at it, proud mama right there, her sweet peas. All right, but I want you to look at this one. It is taller than me with my hand stretched out. Hard for me to get it in the video. Hey, there just went a chipmunk. But they're there. And as you can see, they are slap loaded with pods all the way down. So this vermi composting in the raised beds is working like a champ this year in Dessa's sweet pea bed. So, am I gardener? Thanks, brah. So, we got that from him. Look, Ladessa, look at her being so nice. She's gonna give me one. Woo, doggy.
That had the top on it.
Nothing better than this right here. Fresh vegetables out of the garden.
Uh-oh, you're not supposed to be eating those.
Okay, so now let's hit the front yard. Okay, so we're out here in the front yard garden now. And we've still been adding plants and sowing a bunch of seed. But a lot of interesting things have taken place so far, especially with our experimental bed with my compost and the soil cubed compost. Now, over here in the soil cubed bed, the lettuce bounced back with more vigor than in my compost from the transplant. I have germination from a couple of bean plants and a whole bunch of radishes in the soil cubed bed. And I have no grass or weed seeds in it at all. Now, I'm a little nervous about how many beans are coming up because the chickens did jump in here and may have gotten a few, so I may have to re-sow. But when you come over here to my bed with my compost, I've got no bean germination yet, even though I say that and it looks like I got one that may be trying to break ground about the middle of the bed right now. I have some radishes. I have a good bit of radishes, but I also have a tremendous amount of grass popping up. Now, we've been having to weed this bed daily because of it. So my assumption is that I just didn't get my compost hot enough to be able to kill any grass seeds or weed seeds that got into my compost, because I use a lot of my grass cuttings that I get from cutting hay and stuff like that around here. Now we move on over. So that's a huge bonus. Let me back up for a second. That is a huge bonus with the soil cubed compost. The only thing that's popping up is what I sowed. So that's just fantastic. Come over here to my Brussels sprouts and my cabbage. Some of my Brussels sprouts are struggling a little bit from the transplant shock. We're still dumping a lot of water to them. I don't know if I'm going to get anything from them this year. Even though I started these guys in December, we had issues keeping them going until it was able to get them outside into the little greenhouse and getting children to do their chores of watering. I may not get anything from them this year because the sun is already beating down on them, and it's 5:30 in the afternoon, and a lot of them are very wilted from the sun and the heat today. But the cabbage, on the other hand, the cabbage is starting to spread out, and my broadleaves are starting to get a lot larger, and so I have hope for them. If not, I'm going to sow them all again in the fall and probably do a fall crop of them, because I honestly believe they'll do better as a fall crop for us than a spring crop. The next vertical bed garden over is the cucumbers. Now we got cucumbers, radishes, and some bush beans in here. We sowed that a couple of days ago. I got no germination except for my cucumbers. So the cucumbers are up and starting to go, but we did kind of start them in the greenhouse a couple of weeks before we put them out here. And then you step down into the little square beds, and we have that's when we get into more specific companion planting styles. Now, all of the beds that we mentioned so far, except for the Brussels sprouts and the cabbage, they all have been companion planted. And so I'm really looking forward to being able to show you guys the benefits of that as the season progresses. The two beds that are in front of me right now are what I'm calling my pizza garden. That's a companion planting. There's going to be a video specific about those. The eggplant is companion planted with some spinach and some peppers, and what else has got in there? Some beans. We got a couple of beds of those. We have our squash, where we're doing the Three Sisters. With that one, we're going to show you that one in a video. And then I got a tamale, and it's companion planted with some basil, and we're putting some mint in there also. Now this is our very first year growing a tamale. Robin and Jess, I guess, were talking about them in the shindig, and Robin had us go pick one up, so we're going to give it a go. Now over there in the containers up around the front porch, we are using sweet potatoes as a ground cover around those beds up there, around her containers, where Robin has rosemary, and the carrots are really starting to germinate and come up real nice. And that's it for this week's garden tour. Be on the lookout for more gardening videos coming to you. Next week we will be doing one on the root bag and the grow bags that we got from Soil Cubed Super-Sod and their raised bed. That will be coming out next week as well. And then more on companion planting and square foot gardening. So don't forget about our live stream on Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for coming by the Big Bear Homestead. God bless. And have a nice day.